But I do have a question about how to bring this together, though.
Okay, and your question is, what are you trying to bring together?
Well, I want to bring the topic.
Okay, what's your topic here? Go ahead and read it.
Santiago is a victim of the preservation of culture and tradition.
Okay.
But my focus is going to be around the patriarchy and how Santiago is the victim of that. And then now I'm taking it to argue why I think he's the victim. And so now I'm breaking it up to show how, while I'm tying in when you were talking about the bluff.
When you sense the thick stone wall, the ancient thick stone wall.
Yes, because then that's where a lot of his okay, then it says, and then from there I said how this has been the way of our world is perpetual. This is the danger of the people. But then I went into, I tied this into religion and all the division that we face. Because then it's talking about his family a lot. And so now, then I was looking at how his children have different ideas, different views about, life.
Totally, yeah. And that's a threat, right?
Right, that is a threat. It's also, but then that's where the division came in, because that's where, which will come upon him and his children. He will drive them out to form their own way due to the force of his way of thinking, instead of cultivating their ideas to tie them into his culture and tradition, to keep them intact. Instead, it's pushing them away.
Yeah.
So when they're, instead of looking at his culture, their culture in a positive, they're going to see it as a negative, because they weren't able to remain who they are. It's almost like, I can't be an artist because of my culture. How are you trying to tell me?
What about that passage? It's perfect. The passage where you and Sandy were talking about the painting. It felt like an artistry, like an artistic rendering.
Well, I didn't put it in there, but that's where that was coming from.
Yeah, you could.
So now, but with all that, because then, then here the people damage culture and tradition when they try to remove everyone instead of being involved. That's where the pride came in. Because then, that's where it destroys culture, religion, and tradition. Because now it's about self. Instead of involving cultures, it's people involved. So when you try to impose your own view, it pushes people out. Instead of, so now it's like, now I'm trying to figure out how to bring it into paper form. And how to bring it all together to.
I like what you said about, so he's driving away
his people.
You said he's preserving culture by adhering to really strict definitions of the way it is. And if you don't adhere to that, then you can't preserve culture. And what is he sacrificing?
His family. Well, he is sacrificing his culture.
His own self.
His self, too?
His artistic side. That's why I was pointing you to that artistic passage. He's actually cutting that part of him off. So he gets all wrapped up in that passage, the style in which that paragraph was written, which is so cool what Sandy and you were saying in class. That depicts him as a Luis Gonzaga, his son who he hates because he's an artist, and he secretly envies because he's strong enough to be that painter. So in order to preserve culture, you have to sacrifice being who you really are.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I put. There's nothing wrong with keeping culture and tradition, but you must be flexible or adaptable because times are always changing. And he's not allowing himself to be adaptable or flexible because he's denying something that's him. Instead of going with it,
yes.
To keep it going. And it's like you can't. You just shut it down, lock yourself. So.
And that's what he's demanding of his whole family.
Right.
And that's what was imposed on him, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's why it shows.
That's why the
that's how
patriarchy.
he's perpetuating it.
Yeah. Yes.
So. This, obviously, I would take this right here and then make a paragraph out of that. And then go from there as it...
You have an entire essay right here.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to focus here then.
Okay.
I'm going to focus on the beginning. And then make my...